Hey everybody, what's up? Yeah, I know, long time no see. You've probably seen me already in two short videos that I've uploaded since I've moved here on YouTube. One basically me riding home on the bus from Patterson to Newman. And of course the other one where I did in my backyard here, where I talked about the fact that it didn't matter who won the presidency, we were all screwed in the end. But you all have been, but I know you all probably been wondering what's been happening, what's been going on since this move. Well, quite honestly, a lot's been going on. I mean, now, as I just mentioned, and as you have seen, I have to take the bus to work. So, in a couple of hours, I got to hop on the bus to go to work, and and basically I have to wait literally about 20 minutes, 30 minutes before I start. Sometimes the advantage of that is you're on time. Sometimes the disadvantage is you're bored. Go figure. But a lot has happened. As you can see, you know, down here is the hallway, and in here is my room. Now my room is coming together slowly but surely. And I'll probably give you a room tour in a little while. It's not much right now. It's much smaller. It's a little smaller than the last room. Yeah, it is a lot smaller. But I am getting things together. I do plan to get myself what's known as organizers. These kind of little organizers I sell at my job, so I can place my figures on there. Now, not all my figures are going to be, you know, on display basically. So some of them are going to be put in drawers and all that, in the dresser drawers that I have for safekeeping until the time is right. Another thing as well is, unfortunately, as far as my posters go, I'm not going to be able to hang all of them like I used to. Yeah, unfortunately that's not going to happen. What is happening though, I will let you know, you'll see this in the room tour, is I am able to get some of my framed pictures up. For example, the Transformers the movie poster, the 1986 one, which I framed, is hanging above my desk. Right next to it is the Sonic SatAM poster, which is actually the cover for the Sonic SatAM box set. That's on there. Or that's right next to it. So they're hanging side by side. On the other side of my dresser drawer, on my dresser I should say, I have my Zootopia picture framed in a blue frame, hung up right there. And I have behind my TV, I have my Sonic the Hedgehog, hold on. I have my Sonic the Hedgehog 283 Valiant poster framed and hung up behind my TV. And then on the other side of the room, I have my Sonic Universe 75 Valiant cover for when they were doing World Unite with the whole group picture shot. I have that hanging up. And then side by side, and then after that I have side by side of my futon right now that I'm using. I have side by side the Return of the Freedom Fighters, the Countdown to Chaos Connecting Arcs, which is 53, 54, 55, and 56. And then right next to it, I have the connecting cover art, the poster art, if you will, for Panic in the Sky, which was the Shadow World Crisis finale. Now, with all that said, there's still a lot more to go. Yesterday, we just recently had cable put in. The only thing that needs to be worked on is the phone. The phone works, but but the way this house was designed, folks, it was designed basically in the fact that as As one of the technicians that was here yesterday said, whoever designed the house, they daisy chained the phone lines. So it makes it difficult, well, not so difficult, but it makes it hard to kind of, point out certain areas so that all the phone lines can work. So for example, the phone here in the living room, here in the kitchen I should say, the phone here in the kitchen does not work. It's connected, but it doesn't work. Mine, however, does. The same with here in the living room. If you put a phone here, it's not, even though the phone service is working, it's not going to work. Same with the guest room and my mom's room. Basically, nothing, except for my room, which has the modem, nothing's going to work. Nothing's going to work. So, that's what's going on there. Now, of course, I am also getting new stuff as well. I'm getting new movies and stuff. In fact, over the past couple of weeks, actually the past almost week and a half, me and my mom have been doing nothing but enjoying movies or watching movies. Myself, however, as of last week, was able to obtain finally, and I think everybody was accepting of this, I was able to obtain a new phone, a Samsung Galaxy Luna, through the Straight Talk service, which is part of TracFone. And it works very well. As a matter of fact, now that now that my house has Wi-Fi, I don't have to worry about using that much mobile data, except when I'm on the road. I might, and the only thing is, the only expense on that is I might buy a card every few months to make sure I keep up with that. Excuse me. But yeah, I kind of spaced out there for a second. But, oh, yes, new environment around you, so you're going to hear things you don't normally hear. But anyway, like I said, I was able to enjoy the internet a little bit through that. The only problem is that my data was being used. And for some of you that may have a TracFone or a Straight Talk wireless phone, and you know about that, you know that unless you have Wi-Fi, you're going to be using a lot of your data, and it's going to go from 4G to 2G, if you catch my drift, a lot quicker than you expect. But with that said, a lot has changed. I mean, we're still kind of adjusting. I mean, there's several times my mom, of course, she'll be tired and all that, just like I am after work. And she'll vent. She will vent at times, and she'll look at certain things around the house, like what needs to be worked on, what needs to be improved. And she'll basically say that this house, she's just right now, even though we've been here for almost 3 weeks now, she basically still feels like she's not home. It's like it's a different environment for her right now because she didn't expect my landlord or expect our landlord to sell the house. Now our landlord, let's just put it this way, I have my difference of opinion with the guy. I have my own feelings as to why he did it. My mom wants to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, oh well, maybe he couldn't afford to keep it anymore. And she's willing to give him the benefit of the doubt of believing what he says. He says, oh, well, we need the money to help get my daughter through school or finish school. Oh, we lost another house and da-da-da. Here's my thing about that, folks. If that was the case, if getting his daughter through school was one of the main reasons, I can understand that. If losing a house is another one of the main reasons, I can understand that. But why not tell us that when you're informing us that you're selling the house? Why not inform the people that are currently living or were currently living in said house? Why couldn't you inform them of, I need the money to help my daughter finish school, that's why I'm selling, or this or that? Why couldn't you inform us? That's what I want to know. Why couldn't you inform us when you first told us about this, and not the day my mom, while I'm at work, goes and meets with him last week? You know, you gotta wonder that question, folks. You gotta wonder why a land person, a landlord, a landlady, whatever, why they won't say that. Why they won't come out and tell you that right off the bat, so that it puts your mind at ease. I'll tell you why. Because, honest to God, and God forgive me if I'm wrong, Lord forgive me if I'm wrong, but my honest to God opinion is our landlord was waiting for the moment when my mom would have him deduct the rent, which she did because we had to have the air conditioning fixed. She had him deduct the rent because we had a friend of the family come out and work on the air conditioning 2 days in a row. He was waiting for that moment, in my opinion, for her to do that so he could get her out of the house. 9 years he didn't raise the rent. I will give him that. 9 years he didn't raise the rent. But yet he pays us back by doing this. We just recently come back from a mini vacation in Santa Cruz as an early birthday celebration for my 9-year-old nephew. We come back from that. And what happens? What happens? We get a message on the phone saying he wants to talk, tells us what he's going to do, offers us at first the opportunity to buy, can't qualify, can't afford, which he probably knew. I find out possibly that the maintenance guy that he depended on probably owns part of that house. So to me, my sisters and my brother-in-laws, we all, and even my father who lives in Kansas, we all believe and we all feel that it's just too coincidental that this guy would sell the house immediately after we had a friend of the family, a friend of my sister's, second oldest sister, and her husband fix the air conditioning. And because of that, had to deduct the rent. I find it kind of coincidental that it all happens within that time frame. You know, if our landlord at that house didn't want to deduct the rent, he should have just told my mom months before I arrived in November of 2007. He should have told her during the meetings, during the negotiations, oh, by the way, I don't deduct rent. That's why I got this guy doing maintenance, because I don't deduct rent. I don't believe in it. You know, if he would have been honest about that, my mom probably would have still rented the house out. She probably would have said, but she probably would have been of the mentality of, you know what, I need this fixed. And we either have to be patient and wait for Tony, that was the maintenance guy's name. Well, that was the maintenance guy's name. They got they got a lifter, a bulldozer. They're basically cleaning up trees and all that. They cut down some branches. But anyway, you think my landlord, if he had any honesty in him, would have told us that? He would have told us that. He would have told my mom he doesn't deduct rent. You know what my mom would have done, as I was trying to say? She probably would have been patient for the maintenance guy to arrive. Or she would have had her own people. She would have had friends as a family come in and work and fix it. So that way she wouldn't have to call upon the maintenance guy, because for some odd reason, lately, this maintenance guy wants to go to San Francisco. Yeah, this maintenance guy wants to recently go to San Francisco for jobs. I mean, we needed the air conditioning several months ago because of the freaking heat wave. And they wanted us to wait. And we have animals. The point is, I've always had a feeling. The point is basically our landlord, in my opinion, is lying. Is a liar and a backstabber. That's what he is. Yes, I will give him credit. Yes, he did not raise the rent on us. For 9 years, did not raise the rent. Not once. But yet, the moment we have him deduct the rent, the moment my mom has him deduct the rent, and because a friend of the family fixes the air conditioning 2 days in a row, that's when all of a sudden, a week later, he calls up and says, oh, by the way, I want to talk to you. Oh, by the way, what I want to talk to you about is I'm selling the house. You know, he couldn't do this over the phone. You know, he couldn't do this over the phone when we told him about said... I mean, he couldn't do this over the phone when we told him about the air conditioning. He couldn't inform us then that he's thinking of that he's going to be selling the house. No, it's too coincidental. Too coincidental. And you know what? Me and my sisters, my brother-in-laws and my dad, we all, in our opinion, believe that this is nothing more, that this guy's been doing nothing more but taking advantage of my mom's kindness. And because of that, he's saying things that she believes. And you know what? I know deep down, I could see it in her face. I could see it in her face when she comes home, tired or not, or she has a day off and she gets frustrated. I could see it in her face. I could see that she believes exactly what we're saying. She believes that this guy backstabbed her. Stabbed her right in the back. At 67 years of age, stabs her right in the back. And why? Because he doesn't care. I mean, heck, my mom tries to tell him, hey, you want to meet November 5th? Everything's going to be cleared out of the house. It'll be easier. He basically takes that as an offensive. He thinks, oh, wait, I gave you enough time. Hey, I'm giving you more time. He's thinking she wants to stay at that house to November 5th. No, she wants to make it easier for him to go and see the house. But he has a change of... here's the thing. Throughout all this, there are several times this guy's had a change of tone in his voice that has surprised my mom. It's taken her back a step. Well, you know what? It should be evidential right there that this guy is nothing more than a backstabbing liar. And if his maintenance guy, who's had personal problems with my brother-in-law, my second oldest sister's husband, in the past, and now he wants to finally take it out on us because we bring in somebody else besides him, you know what? You know what? Fine. You want to play that game? Fine. I want to make a warning to anybody that may go into that household. I want to make a warning to anybody that deals with these kind of landlords or landladies or whatever. I'm giving you a warning right now. Be careful. Be careful of that. But not only that, make sure they tell you in writing. Get up straight in their face and say, I want the truth. I want to know. Oh, if they have their own maintenance person, ask them right there. Ask them straight up. Is this the guy that's going to do the maintenance? Am I always going to have to depend on him? Or am I going to be able to get my own person if I can't get it? And if they tell you he's the only one, then you tell them, look, I want to live here. I want to live in this